Work it, make it, do it, make sense.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to our talk. My name is Koffi Sessi. I work for Pluralsight, and this is
Antonio Goncalves, and I'm actually an author for Pluralsight.
Awesome. So we're going to be talking about the Pluralsight experience and what's involved in it. But before we do that, let's talk a bit about Pluralsight. I was going to ask how many people here know about Pluralsight, but I do know the answer to that, so we're going to skip right through it. So what is Pluralsight? Pluralsight is an online training company. We do provide training for developers, creative professionals, and IT professionals as well. We have 6,000 courses in our library, and we're present in 153 countries. We are headquartered in Farmington, Utah. We have offices in Boston, Chicago, Oklahoma City, San Diego, Orlando, Florida, Sydney, Australia, London here in the UK, and Mumbai in India. And that gives you an idea of just what is the footprint of the company. Now, you might be asking yourself, as an author, what exactly is my impact? What is the impact of a typical Pluralsight author? I'll tell you, Antonio here has 5 courses in the Pluralsight library.
Java EE courses.
Java EE, specifically Java EE courses. And last year, he reached 8,000 learners in 118 different countries. Now, that should give you an idea of when we say at Pluralsight, when we say we make a positive impact every single day, that's what we mean. Now, let's get to why we're here. Let's discover a little bit about the process. So, Antonio, tell me, you have been a Pluralsight author for
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
That's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm finishing my 6th course, so 6 courses in 4 years.
Awesome.
Well, that's, because that's a lot of work. So I do Java. I mostly do Java EE. So when I was approached by Pluralsight 4 years ago, sorry, I thought, good, I'm going to create hundreds of courses for the platform. And it appeared that the entire experience of creating a new course takes slightly longer than just a few hours.
So tell us about your process. What is your process like?
So the first thing is the idea of a new course. So as I said, I come from a Java background, Java EE background, and so I have this idea of creating a course on JPA. But I also have this idea of a course on Hibernate. And I also had this idea of, mapping data to... So a lot of ideas in your head as an author. That's when you go back to Pluralsight. And because I'm followed by an editor, so when you create a new course, you are followed from day one till the very end by one editor. So it's your contact point. So I go to this guy or girl and talk about my idea, their roadmap. What do they have in their roadmap for Java or Java EE in my case? So there's a bit of brainstorming. I have one idea, they challenge it, I challenge it back. So an idea of a new course can come from an author, me, pushing one idea, but it can also come from the company itself. So I've been approached a few times. Here I am sitting in Paris in front of Skype and, those guys in Utah. And we chat and they go, well, we have this idea of a new course. What do you think? So the first step is an idea of a new course, which is quite interesting. Then we have this idea, I'm going to do a course on JPA. I am the expert, so I'm going to spend a bit of time writing the outline. That's actually the part I like the most. because I'm going to have to create a course on JPA or Java EE. Creating a course on Java EE, a 4 or 5 hour course on Java EE, it's quite tricky, because Java EE you could spend days, you could do a course in days. So what am I going to talk about? Technology ABC, and JPA, and CDI, and transaction. And then you go, yeah, but not this way around, the other way around, because if I teach JPA first, then transaction, and maybe, injection, but injection, etc., etc. So you spend a few weeks creating the outline of your course. Again, with your editor, it challenges your outline, and then you are ready to go. So I have my outline. Now I'm going to start creating the content. So I create one slide and a second slide, a third slide. I put a section. I move the section around because I'm changing the outline, at the same time. So this process is much, much longer than the outline. It can take literally months if you only work like me over the weekends or day in, day out. So developing slides, a course can be 400, 500 slides. Yes. And again, I'm followed by my editor, who tells me there's too much text on this slide. This animation is not good. The color is not proper. While I'm creating these 400 slides, what I like to do is write down my transcript. So I have one slide. What am I going to say in this slide? Some people, improvise on the slide. I tend to write every single sentence. So I'm creating the slides, creating the transcripts and the animations. Slides are done. The text is written. That's when I start rehearsing. So for a few weeks, I rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. So I have my slides in front of me. I've written down my transcript. I press next, next, next. I read at the same time, loud voice. And again, I move things around. While I'm speaking it loud, I can see that, no, this slide should be before, or there's a sentence missing, or this animation is too long. Then I'm ready. I'm ready to record. That's a tricky part. I would say that's the most stressful part. Here I am in my office. I've put pillows all over. I don't know when, where. I've heard that corners are not good for the sound.
That's true.
I put things on the wall because it's going to absorb sound.
Yep.
Hopefully. Again, the company created a few movies to explain you things. What microphone you should be using. What's the distance between the microphone and your voice. Tips, drink water, because when you're thirsty, you tend to create noises. So they have all these tips, it's like a checklist. Make sure the microphone is on, make sure this, make sure you have a bottle of water, make sure this and that. And I record module per module, and each time it's finished, I post-product it. What I do now is I have my slides, I have my voice, I record everything. Then I'm going to a tool, so I use Camtasia, and I cut bits, I change things. I decrease the sound of the voice if it's too low or too high. If I hear my mouth clicking, I cut it. So that takes a lot of time. I have my MP4 video file. it's finally done, and now I push it back to those guys.
So that is, it's a very involved process. Obviously, there is I won't say painful, but it demands patience to edit the video to a point where someone you don't know from somewhere would sit and watch it and make sense out of it. But then when he's done, he sent the video over to us. What exactly happened behind the scenes? Great question. The first step is the QA review. And that, what we mean by QA review is somebody is going to sit in front of an editing system, whether it's Adobe Premiere or Camtasia, and watch every second of the video submitted. We're doing this because we want to, we've made a promise to our audience. When they come to Pluralsight to learn, they expect a certain level of quality. And we hold our authors to that quality. They have to deliver that. So somebody has to sit down and watch every minute of that submitted video. And then that is just the first step. Once that video has been vetted, that in terms of audio quality, in terms of video quality, in terms of storytelling, everything is there, now we go ahead to the next step, which is validating the tech. We have to have a peer reviewer review the entire video to make sure that you're not saying anything that is practically untrue. Technically true, but practically untrue, right? Or practically true, but technically untrue. Either way, we need to have someone with the knowledge, with the technical knowledge to vet that video. After that validation process, there may be feedback or there may be no feedback. If there is a feedback, then the editor is going to get that feedback and send it over to Antonio. And Antonio will have either sometimes just do some quick fixes or have to go back to the drawing board and re-record the entire module. Now, needless to tell you that that is not my favorite part. Having to tell someone that, hey, by the way, you just spent 4 hours working on this module, the whole thing is crap, you have to redo it again. It's not a fun conversation. I had to have that conversation a few times, and I don't like them. I don't like them. So now, if there are no feedback, then that module is validated, and then we move on to the next step. The next step is prepping for publication. Now, this includes a little bit of work. There are some scripts to prepare, some things to run. Make sure, for example, when you're looking at a course and you're looking at a description of that course, is the description accurate enough when you go watch the video? Somebody has to marry the two, right? And then we also have to look at tags, how people can find your course once it's in the library. When you come to the library, you type JAX-RS, and you're looking for just JAX-RS, are you going to find something? Now, if the course has JAX-RS content, but it's not tagged, then you are not going to find it, which is not good. Then once all of that has been done, we push it over to S3, which is Amazon, which is what we use to publish the course. And now the course is on the website. What happened next? Next is the promotion. We have to send out newsletters. We have to push the course in many, many different ways. We have a whole department whose job is to make sure we put your course in front of learners. We put your course in front of companies who are asking us for it, or we push it in front of, we come to conferences like Java where we expose what we have, DevOps, or we go to other conferences. We do, you guys have seen me around quite a bit, for those of you who know me. That's what I'm doing, but we're also at the same time trying to make sure we get a new content in, because Java is a vast technology stack, and we have a lot, but we still need a lot more, right? So at the same time, while we're selling what we already have, we also need to get in some new content. And that is how the process works from both the author's end of things and our end of things. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you. Now that you know how the process works, how about joining us and start adding some of your own content to the library, right? If you think about it, in 2016, he reached over 8,000 people. Now, if you break that down into conference sessions, I'm assuming for every session you have about 200 people, right? Now, that is over 40 sessions. You have to do over 40 sessions at a conference to reach that number. I'd say it's not exclusive, but you're reaching more people. Thank you.